Welcome everyone. It's the next lesson. Wow, I just had to burp. It's the next lesson. This time, we are going to talk about tame and how tame is used in different ways. There's more to it than because of. Yes, there is more to it than because of. Definitely. Let's hop in. There are like, I think, what did I prepare? There's 3 pretty distinct usages of tame that I've prepared today. And we're just gonna kind of look at those. So let's get started. First of all, let's actually see what tame is. It's because sometimes it is. Just write mine down. I'll be right back. Sure, don't worry about it, Beth. So here we have tame. Also, I adjusted the color of this a little bit. Last time it was like bright red, and that was a bit much. So this is the kanji for tame. Tame is one of those sort of weird boys, okay? It's one of those weird ones where you will see sort of an equal mix of like kana usage and kanji usage. So it's like a 50-50, okay? Where it's like 50% of the time it will be in kana, and then the other 50 it will be in kanji, okay? That's kind of how I feel. Beth, you will definitely see both. Ayafumi-san, konnichiwa. You'll definitely see both, right? You'll see 50% kana, 50% kanji. This also depends heavily on the context. In formal writing, you will see a lot of more like kanji usage in general. Maybe in a newspaper, you might see tame in kanji. Fun facts about the kanji. This is also a kanji that you can actually use for suru. So you can write suru kind of like this. There. Theoretically, you can write suru like this, okay? No one does, all right? No one does. No one does, but you could do it. It's a kanji that you could use for suru. No one does that, though. So it's just kind of fun, but there's no need for you to really know about that. So the meaning of the word itself, and I do mean the word, so tame is a noun. Tame is a noun. Usually just means good, advantage, benefit, sake, purpose, objective, consequence, or result. All right, so these are the kind of meanings associated with just the word tame, and we will actually see all 3 of these in different examples and different contexts today. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is, let me get rid of this. The first thing I'll talk about is how to use tame. 誰がために金はなる。誰がために金はなる。お、誰のためにみたいな使い方。It looks extra that's true. Yeah, there's even other kanji you can use for suru. Yeah, 誰がために. Oh, たがために. Ta ga tame ni. Interesting. So for whom the bell tolls, right? That's what that means, basically. The first one I want to talk about is for the benefit of someone. This is a very prevalent, by the way, love the word prevalent. This is a very prevalent usage of the word tame. The only really way of doing this, the only way of really using this phrase, this sort of form, because it's of someone. This is a person, right? So you have person. Let me put this a bit up so that we have space. You basically just have person, and then no tame. Okay, that's basically it. Like there's no variation here because a person is always a noun. Okay, like we know that people's names are nouns, right? Like Bobu-san or Tanaka-san, those are all, they count as names. Welcome back, Beth. They count as names. No tame. Person no tame. And then, like, it kind of continues. And usually you'll have ni here. Person no tame ni, for the sake of someone, for the benefit of someone. As opposed to e. Well, doesn't mean for the benefit of someone at all, usually. It would mean like towards someone. Like if you send someone a letter, it'll be like dareka, like towards someone. It just signifies the place where it is going, but it has nothing to do with whether it benefits the person or not, generally. So that's the benefit of someone. I have, of course, prepared in my infinite wisdom some example sentences. This is a very simple one. あなたのために来た, right? あなたのために来た. That just means I came here for you, right? Which is true, by the way. I did come here for you, so you better listen up. あなたのために来た. So you can see the structure here, very simple. あなた, obviously a person. I said here it's a noun. Now, this is theoretically a pronoun, but that's kind of the same thing. So remember, pronouns replace nouns. Literally, that's what pronoun kind of means. It means for noun, if you translate it from its original meaning. So pronoun, anata, and then no tame ni, for your sake, for your benefit, ni kita. So I came here. Okay, we have the subject for the kuru here is actually implied. There would be like a watashi wa at the start of the sentence or something like that, right? Or we could make someone else the subject, doesn't matter. That's not really the point. So I came here for you. Anata no tame ni kita. You could have anything in between here as well. Koko ni kita or something like that. It doesn't really matter. Oh, also note that since we're talking about this right now, if we wanted to insert something here, for example, koko ni, this is okay. You can have multiple ni in one sentence. I often see people a bit confused with doubling up or tripling up their particles in one sentence. Different particles can be used for different things in the same sentence, so in different usages. And on top of that, the same use for a particle can show up multiple times in a sentence. That's not true for every particle. So like, for example, you shouldn't have multiple subject marking ga in one clause. You can have them in different clauses though. So there is basically more or less there's a way how you can conceive of a sentence that uses the same particle multiple times, almost no matter what particle that is, okay? A lot of people seem to think that particle are kind of one-time use. So like if you've used up your ga or your o slot, then you can't use it anymore. That's not true, obviously. You can have multiples of the same particle, and of course you can have multiples of the same particle in different usages as well. That's a challenge, how many particles in a sentence. Yeah, what about something neutral, non-beneficial for someone like an eraser? Well, you could just say, like, at that point, if you're just giving it to someone, right? We are back with ni ageru, right? To give it to someone. That's not the topic of today's lesson, but at that point, if we're just giving, then it's ni ageru or something like that, right? I came for you can be ambitious. Tameni can't be used with negative meaning, right? Yes, so tameni is always, that's why I kind of use the word benefit. Tameni always means like benefit. If you remember from before, one of the meanings was good, right? It's definitely more of a positive usage. Thank you for following, by the way, Lennon CK. All right, so that would be one example. Then I have another one. A biscuit for Tommy. Yes, basically. All right, sekai. Oh, I have a typo in here. Ohame. Oops. Let's fix that typo real quick. It's not really a typo. It's just that I forgot to properly adjust the furigana. That this used to be a different word, obviously. Oame is a entirely different word. Sekai. Oops. Sekai. All right. So now we're looking at same structure. We still have our noun. Okay, noun no tame nara. Here I don't have a ni, but rather I have a different structure, which is nara, sort of an if, right? If gisei wa shikatanai, right? So if it is for the sake of the world, sekai no tame, like for the betterment of the world. So how would you say biscuit for Tommy? Oh, you say like Tomi no tame no biscuit or something like that. It depends. Tomiate no biscuit. There's multiple ways of saying it. The issue is that, like, what are you trying to imply? But yeah, you can say no tame no. That works. Tomi no tame no biscuit or something like that, right? You could say that. Sekai no tame nara. So if it is for the benefit, again, like, keep in mind this sort of benefit meaning. If it's for the benefit of the world, gisei wa shikatanai. Gisei means sacrifice. So sacrifice, right? Wa shikatanai. So it can't be helped. Shikatanai is very common for like, it can't be helped. Right? It can't be helped. So like there's no way around it. Sekai no tame nara gisei wa shikatanai. If it is for the sake of the world, then sacrifices will be made, or sacrifices need to be made. Something like that, right? It's just, it can't be helped. You can't get around it. Okay? Gisei wa shikatanai. Can't be helped. Okay? So you can already kind of see, because earlier we said that tame was a noun itself, right? Thank you for following. Curious Mustela. Mustela, I don't know what that means. Thank you. Follow, arigatou gozaimasu. Earlier we said, right? Tame is a noun, and luckily Japanese is pretty internally consistent with those things. So if something is a noun, then it can do all the things a noun can, right? So nara can be attached to like nouns, right? Inu nara if it's a dog, or tame nara if it's for the benefit, right? It's basically the same thing at that point. Okay, let's move on. That's basically all I have to say about the for the benefit of someone kind of meaning. Well, usually I said someone, right? To be fair, right? It can also be something. Sekai is not a someone, it is a something. It is the world, okay? So to be fully precise, it would be someone or something, okay? Let's look at the next usage, which is slightly different, I would argue. Ashita no tameni. Yes, for tomorrow. The next usage it's similar, but it's a little different in terms of what you mean, okay? It manifests itself very similarly, but its sort of implied meaning is just ever so slightly different. Marking an objective, okay? So marking an objective, usually you would have here, the reason why I put this as a separate thing is because now we can actually use not only nouns, we can use verbs and we can use verbs as well. We can use nouns and verbs, okay? So we can use noun plus tame, no tame, noun plus no tame, noun plus no tame, and we can use verb plus tame. And it basically means like so that, or you know, for. You know, for. Military, my voice cracked, and you had a typo. What a combination. Military objective? No, just objective as in something you want to accomplish. A goal, marking an objective. Yo, whoa, hey. Hey. Nixion, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Who got a sub? So we have, 5 gifted. Thank you, I appreciate that. 2 LOLKKA9 Rudo Beth, welcome back. Beth, you had subs before, I think. Maru and Volare, there you go. So I'll continue the lesson, but thank you very much. Noun plus no tame and verb tame. Note, please do not put verb no tame, okay? It is just verb tame, that's it. So that or for. This is for when you have a goal that you want to accomplish, okay? So for the sake of, for such that I could accomplish this goal, or such that something is a thing. Let's move to more concrete examples so that we don't have to worry about these abstracts too much. So here I have an example sentence. 自分自身の幸福のために敵を許し忘れもしよう. I found this sentence and I found it kind of pretty, or I found it kind of fun. I guess not adjective if that works too. Well, the thing is, like, the thing is, like, marking an objective for adjectives doesn't really work that way. You would almost have to phrase it differently. Like, for example, you can't say, if you say 美味しいため, that's something that we'll talk about, but it comes later. For the purposes of marking an objective, we usually say an action, or we have a noun, but not really an adjective, because that kind of phrasing just isn't used. You would maybe say like 美味しいであるために or something, so that it can be delicious. What if you first nominalize a verb using no, 食べるのために? Well, you're kind of defeating the purpose at that point, where, like, just like you don't need to nominalize nouns because they can already... sorry. Just like you don't need to nominalize adjectives to describe nouns, you don't need to nominalize verbs just so they can go in front of a noun, because verbs already go in front of nouns. It's just not necessary. It's just, like, silly. I don't know, it's just kind of nonsensical to do that, if that makes sense. Stefan Natural. I don't know if that's wrong, but it's Stefan Natural. Well, taberu no, yeah, it's just, like, no one would say this. It's just, like... That's kind of like adding +1 -1 to all your equations. It's like you could do that, but it's silly and like it doesn't do anything. And even then, I'm not even sure if it would be considered, even like strictly speaking grammatically, like speaking would be considered correct, but probably not, because it's kind of a silly usage of nominalization. 自分自身の幸福の so 幸福 by the way means happiness. Happiness. 自分自身 so your own, right? One's own happiness のために so for the purpose of your own happiness 敵を許し、許す here means to forgive. Forgive. And 忘れもしよう forget. And then let's, right? So for the purpose of feeling happy, for the purpose of your own happiness, のために, and here we have a noun, right? Happiness is a noun. So it could be 食べるために. Exactly. That's perfectly fine at that point. 敵を許し. Some math profs only work through +1 -1 or well, that's true, yes. But my example was, well, I guess it's not 100%, it's not 100% analogous. If you can find some other analogy that works. I needed a thing that theoretically should work within the framework that you're using, but it's just it usually doesn't make sense because it doesn't change anything. But yes, you are right. Sometimes or like you know, multiplying by 1 via adding a square root, or via multiplying a square root over a square root, something like that. Like you use that all the time. 自分自身の幸福のために so for your own happiness, for the purpose or for like the objective, right? Like what you want is happiness. So because what you want is the happiness, you want your own happiness. So that's why like no tameni, right? That's kind of why I'm calling this objective. For your own happiness, 敵を許し forgive your enemies 忘れもしよう and let's forget. Does yurusu and yurusu have nuance difference? I'm pretty sure that yurusu with this kanji, because it's in yosha, has to do with mercy. Sort of like forgive a sin, I think, or allow. Yeah, I think it's more forgiveness, whereas the other yurusu is more allowing something, giving permission. And this yurusu is more like forgiving something bad, I think is what it means. 自分. This might be a dumb question, but what's the difference between 自身 and 自分? So 自分 is oneself, or 自分 is like one, and 自分自身 is just like honestly, like there's not a huge difference, but it's like a more emphasized way of saying like one's own, one's very own. You could also just say 自分の幸福. It wouldn't be much different, to be honest. It's more emphasized if anything. All right. Next sentence, I have more. But wait, there's more. なぜ会社のためにここまでするのですか? Right? なぜ why 会社のためにここまでするのですか? This basically means なぜ is why, right? So why 会社のため for the benefit of the company. Now, again, note that hey Kolaya, note that 自身の幸福. You could say that, yeah. 自身の幸福. But I feel like usually you would have 自分自身 or you would have 自分の. But 自身の kind of works. I just wouldn't say it's as common. Why'd you go this far? Yeah, exactly. So do note that this usage, 会社のために, is obviously, this is very similar to like the for the benefit of kind of meaning. It's just that the benefit of doesn't really work as well with verbs, so I kind of grouped it into this objective thing. But I will admit that this usage is truly, it's very similar to just the one that we discussed before. It's very similar in structure. The next one that we're gonna I think look at, the next one we're gonna look at is pretty different, but this one is very similar. So なぜ会社のためにここまでするのですか? So this is just here, this guy is just for the question, right? So it makes it a question. And then ここまでする basically means like go this far. Why do you go this far just for the company? Or for the company? 会社のためにここまでするのですか? Like why do you go this far for the company? For the sake of the company, right? Okay, like why go this far? Why do this? 会社のために for the sake of the company or for the objective of the company. It's whatever. That's just phraseology, to be honest. Okay? All right. I'm gonna clear this space because I have 2 more sentences. These next 2 are gonna be with verbs. So let's make some space. So here we have, we actually have verbs. Okay? So here are 幸せになるためのたった一つの道だ. The company is my life. Oh no. 幸せになるため. So here is our verb and here is ため. Okay, so here's verb ため. 幸せになる just means to become happy. Okay, 幸せ is happiness. And 幸せになる just literally means becoming happy. Becoming happiness, but in Japanese you can say it like this. 幸せになるためのたった一つの道だ. Okay? Basically, for the sake of becoming happy, like to accomplish becoming happy, no. Okay? And then, so the interesting thing about this sentence is that this whole chunk here essentially does kind of now turn into a noun, okay? It is sort of nominalized. Yo, Nexion, thank you. I really appreciate it. You don't have to give subs, but I appreciate it. Arigato.
Nexion gifted ATI sub to Hyper Smoke. They have given Roku gift subs in the channel.
They do have given Roku gift subs. Thank you very much. Nom. So this is kind of like nominalization now, because note that you always get ko and shin confused. Yeah, those are very annoying. Note that whenever you have sort of a noun like this at the end of a clause, it does kind of serve to nominalize the clause, okay? It kind of just does that automatically. Which verb conjugations can be used with tame? Dictionary negative. So generally, generally sentence ending forms can be used. So dictionary form, negative forms, and past tense and past negative. But the thing is that negative is rarely used, and past forms are much more commonly used with the next connotation that we're going to talk about. So for the connotation of achieving an objective or a goal, usually you will just see the dictionary form. That's by far the most common one. Elpo, thank you for the follow. Arigato. So for achieving objectives and goals that are actions, you would usually just see dictionary form, like non-past. You might see a past tense, but at that point, if you have a past tense, it will be interpreted usually as a because, and that's what we're going to talk about next, by the way. So, 死なないため. Yeah, so you will have negative forms, but that does work. 死なないため. You will have negative forms, but not generally past tenses. And next one, thank you for the follow as well. Follow arigato. 幸せになるため. So the reason that I mentioned the nominalization of this part here, of this clause, is you can see now we actually have no here. たった一つの道, right? So basically, what is going on the higher level here, and high level I just mean like zoomed out, what is going on here is actually nothing other than noun, no, noun, okay? So you can see how usually Japanese grammar, any grammar really, but let's focus on Japanese. In Japanese grammar, usually you have these sort of substructures that become like building blocks, and then you have the overlying structures that use those blocks. So here, grammatically speaking, we have like a noun, because this is a nominalized clause, which is like a noun. Then we have no, and then we have another noun, right? It's kind of noun, no noun. So 幸せになるためのたった一つの道だ. It is the only way, and then now we can interpret this whole sentence the same way we would interpret a noun, no noun phrase, which means that, right, we have a noun that describes another noun. So the only way to happiness, or the only way, right? It is the only way to become happy, right? So to become happy, the only way it is. This is just a copula, right? It is, basically. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. It's a bit of a, this sentence is a bit of a, it's not hard, but it's kind of like emblematic of like how Japanese grammar would manifest itself, I suppose. And again, the main focus for today obviously would be this ni naru tame, so to become happy. It is the only way to become happy. right? Whatever it is, right? Here we have sort of this implied way. We don't really know what the way is, but someone know the way. That's the point. Okay. Let me just clear some of this stuff. Next. Very thinky. Very thinky. Yes. Here we have 一人暮らし Okay. 一人暮らしをするための部屋を借りました Don't lose your way. Exactly. Once again, we have our verb する Here, 一人暮らしをする which means to live by yourself. 一人暮らし means living by yourself. And you can say をする which just means the act of living by yourself. するための and once again I use the no structure here because this is a noun and then this is a noun. So no is perfectly fine in between those two. So it is a room which I rented. 部屋を借りました I rented a room, right? To rent. 借りる is to rent. So I rented a room for the purpose of living by myself. Right? So I rented the room for the purpose of living by myself. I rented the room where I'll be living by myself, basically. 幸せになるためにたった一つの道がある is correct? Yes. Well, たった一つ道がある This たった一つの道がある I think sounds kind of weird. I'm struggling to explain why. I would maybe say 幸せになる幸せになるための道は一つしかない if you want to say it like that. If you want to say there is only one way, then this like たった一つ is like this the only one. But when you say がある it kind of means like there is only one that there is. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Zazayan, thank you for following. フォローありがとうございます。幸せになるためにたった一つの道がある I think it's probably fine, to be honest. It's probably fine. I would probably phrase it different, but I think the more I think about it, it should probably be fine. Grammatically speaking, it's certainly perfectly fine. There's no like obvious grammar mistake in there. All right. Okay, yeah, you'll understand. Okay, good. The tameni is perfectly fine in there. Okay. Okay, that's it for the objective. So the last one we're going to talk about is the one that probably stands out as the most different usage, which is sort of the because, all right? So if you remember, let me go back real quick. If you remember this, we have consequence result, all right? This is going to become relevant now. So why consequence result, okay? This is kind of what we're going to talk about now. So last thing that you'll see is you can actually show consequence. You can make a because structure, which by the way is exceedingly similar. I will do like this similarity kind of thing. It's exceedingly similar to the use of kara, okay? Okay, it's very similar to the use of kara because, okay? Just basically more formal. All right, so if you understand how to use kara to say because, you basically understand how to use tame to say because it's essentially the same thing. It literally almost replaces it one to one, except that tame has a bit more flexibility because of how it interacts with nouns as well. So that's basically what we'll see right now. Okay, so the structure will usually be one of these. This one I prepared because it's a bit more complex. It has a bit more options, as you can see, but it's the standard options, all right? It's nothing super fancy. We have noun no tame, which means because noun, okay? Like because of a noun, because of a dog or something like that. Because of a dog, the cat ran away, something like that. Is it the same for node? Yeah, I mean, kara and node are already very similar. I would say tame is like... It's kind of complicated. Tame is kind of like node as well. But tame is really this sort of... you will hear it a lot you'll hear it a lot in the news, actually. That's like number one place where I hear tame all the time as a because is in the news. It's kind of this like formal thing, just showing like some consequence of something. So yeah. Node seems more like an implication, like node because it is that, like it implies something else. Whereas I think kara and tame talk more about consequences of things, but it's kind of difficult to phrase this in English. Yeah, I don't know. But they are super similar either way. Even when people explain node versus kara, they usually just say, well, it's kind of the same thing. But which it is, by the way. It's very, very subtle in terms of difference, and it's like super hard to put this into words. Best way to learn that kind of stuff is just to get lots of exposure, and you'll eventually just kind of get a feeling for when people use which one. It's really hard to quantify these differences. So for because generally just noun no tame, you already know this structure. This one's the same. Here, the one that's kind of new is we can say past tense. We can say noun datta tame. So because it was a thing, right? So something like quantify. Yeah, quantify means to well, it kind of depends on what context you use quantify in, but quantifying means to put it into, well, usually what I mean by it is like to explain it in like tangible terms, to be like, this is why, Do I need to collapse it? I don't know. Just gotta feel. It's mostly nuance, yeah. It's nuance, it's level of formality, stuff like that. So here you can actually use past tenses. So noun datta tame, because it was a thing, because it was a dog or something like that. You can use adjectives. So noun, adjective na tame, so like kantan na tame, because it is easy, or kantan datta tame, because it was easy, right? Or e-adjectives, oishii tame, because it is delicious, or oishikatta tame, because it was delicious. And you can also use verbs like taberu tame, because he will eat, or this here is my shorthand for past tense, which is ta or da. If you know Japanese, you'll know, right? Every past tense in Japanese ends in ta or da. And so this kind of this neat little shorthand that I can use here. Verb ta da. So verb past tense, tame. Something like hashita tame, because he ran, because she ran. She's exhausted, something like that. Okay? And then I think the way I organized this was that they fit below, right? No, I didn't. Okay, let me get rid of these. Let's not worry. I'll show you the structure. So let's go over the structure one more time, right? Just so you can look at it again. Noun no tame, noun datta tame. So past tense. By the way, these are all past tenses in case you haven't noticed. So we have like past over here, right? So this is past and this is non-past. That's the kind of the structure I went for here. Adjective, non-adjectives, e-adjectives, and verbs. And then all the same, but the past tense is included, okay? That's it. Also, you could theoretically say noun no tame datta, but it says something else. That means like it was for the purpose of something, or it was because of that, not because it was. Does that make sense? Like when I say omae no tame datta, it's like it was for you, versus omae datta tame, which is more like because it was you. Because it was you who did something, right? That would be the first use case, no? Yeah, that would be the first use case. Again, these kind of sometimes overlap. It just kind of depends on. Also, sometimes, like for example, right? This because versus the for the sake of, we literally can't distinguish just from the look of it. Yo, Ate, thank you so much.
リブちゃんの幸せのために。
あ、ありがとう。いや、でももう幸せだ。I'm already happy. So what I was saying, right? So often you can't really distinguish visually which one it is just without context. Context is king, as always. You need context to understand things. So yeah, let's look at the examples now. Boop. I have 3 examples for this one. These examples are going to sound more formal. That's just kind of because of how tame is usually used for these structures. It's kind of like informal sentences. 現在は工事のために閉鎖中です. Oh, by the way, usually the ni in these sentences is kind of optional. It doesn't really change anything. It's kind of more verbose, I guess. It sounds more wordy, but it doesn't really change anything, to be honest. It's kind of an optional thing. So you could also just say 工事のため閉鎖中です. Note that if you don't have a ni, usually people put a little pause there. Hello, how are you doing? Long time no see. So 現在は工事のため. Koji means construction, like when, the road is under construction or something. Construction. And 閉鎖中 means it's closed. So, for example, heisa could mean anything, but it could mean like different things are closed, but we can stick with the road example. So, because of construction, currently, genzai is currently, right now. Currently, 工事のために閉鎖中です. The road is currently closed because of construction, right? So here we are marking the consequence of the construction, which is that it's closed, right? The construction causes it to be closed, basically. And then we have another example. 姉が結婚するため、父はアルバイトして金を貯める. Okay, so this one's actually interesting. So I feel like you could interpret this two different ways, which is actually kind of funny. So 姉が結婚するため、父はアルバイトして金を貯める. So this is actually a little bit ambiguous in meaning. Like it kind of means both things at the same time. It kind of means, it kind of both means because, but it can also just mean like for, right? Like I would say these meanings kind of exist at the same time almost. Can't you interpret the same way, both ways? I mean, 工事のために. Yeah, I guess you could. Maybe that's why this word is used. I've never actually like really thought about it that way, but you could say 工事のために, but I think what this probably boils down to is more this thing of you know how there's discrepancies between languages where some languages are more precise in certain things and other languages are less precise. So this is maybe one of those things where really it's not that it's super different. It's just that in English we differentiate these things, but in Japanese they're not necessarily considered all that different. Like in Japanese, this just kind of fits into the same box, whereas in English we think it's very separate. Where if you really think about it, I guess you could say for the purpose of the construction, like the road is closed. But I just want to sort of emphasize that people do use this to express what we would in English use a because for. So in English, we would often use because to explain these kinds of sentences. My old sister can get married because my mother's sister getting married. So that my... Wait, what? I'm confused. 姉が結婚するため. So here we could interpret it as like, because my big sister is getting married, 父はアルバイトして金を貯める. My dad will do part-time jobs and save up money. So アルバイト is part-time, right? And then 貯める is like save up. Save up money, right? Road is closed for construction, or is closed because of construction. Definitely related meanings. Yeah, like even in English at that point, right? It's hard to say, you know. It's kind of a difference in perspective, I guess. Like, are you saying that someone caused it, or are you saying it's for the benefit of someone or something? Who knows? All right, last one. Good evening, Tagovnik. Here I ended up using an e adjective, so I just wanted to have an adjective in there as an example. So here's one. ケーキがあまりにも大きいため食べきれない. So あまりにも, we haven't really talked about this yet, but it just means like exceeding something. Like it's too much. It's kind of like sugiru, but it's almost more extreme. あまりにも is like saying like it's just exceedingly big. It was just too big. Like it's just no way. ケーキがあまりにも大きいため, because the cake is so huge, because the cake is so big, 食べきれない. I can't finish it, or I'm not gonna finish it. Like there's no way, right? 食べきれない, like not gonna finish. That's just an example of like using tame with an e adjective. Funny enough, I guess you could use for as well, but it would sound fancy, right? You would say like, I cannot finish the cake for it, it's too big. But at that point, I'm not so sure if we're still like using the same for. But yes. Here it becomes, I feel, a little harder to argue if this is really still like a for. Oh, another thing to keep in mind is that with past tenses, it's usually a lot more clear. Because if you say something like 食べたため, right? If I say, let me just quickly write this out for you. 食べたため. I feel like with 食べたため, it's a bit more clear because 食べたため, if it's like for the sake of but it's already done, then it's kind of weird that you're saying you have this objective you need to clear, but it's already cleared, right? Because it's a past tense. So generally, 食べたため would be because it is because I ate, because someone ate, right? Like, I don't know, something like ご飯はもう食べたためもう腹は減ってない or something like that. Because I have already eaten, I am no longer hungry or something like that, right? Usually past tenses, I would say the meaning leans much more clearly towards because. So that being said, I should have maybe used more past tenses for my examples. So yeah. We could use here this sentence, right? We could change it to like, because my sister got married, my dad is in debt or something like that. Like 姉が結婚したため父はwhat is debt? Wait, I don't know. Can you do exclamation mark J debt for me in chat and we'll see. I forgot what it is. It's something king or something. It's not choking, but choking means savings. I can't remember it. Debt. Oh, did I not? Wait, sorry. Forget about that. I think I forgot to restart my Twitch chat. Oops. I'll do that in a bit. That later. All right. Not gonna finish. ケーキがあまりにも大きいため There you go. By the way, you could also use a past tense. 大きかったため食べきれなかった fun fact, I wanted to put the past tense of both of these, but it didn't fit on the line, so I was like, nah, we'll do present. Or we'll do non-past. I wanted to actually write a sentence あまりにも大きかったため食べきれなかった But it's so much longer that it went until like here, so I was like, we'll do the other one. 借金そうだね借金 so yeah. Or the other one would be, was it 不正 or something like that? I don't remember, but I should know this one. What's this one again? I should remember it, but I can't remember it right now. 不正 right. 不正 Okay, there you go. 不正 close enough. All right. And that's tame. So again, because it was brought up at the beginning of a lesson, does tame really warrant a lesson? In my opinion, yes. Tame has like a pretty broad variety of ways in which it is used. And I hope I could shed some light on at least, some of these today. But this is it. This is what I would consider a pretty good overview about how tame is used in Japanese. To review, right, we have a few different meanings that we can use. Go out of my way. My emails are blocking my layers. So if we just go through, we have the because that we talked about, sort of showing this consequence of sometimes, like, I don't know what this is, but sometimes Photoshop just locks up for me and then I can't change anything anymore. Maybe I'm hitting the hotkey to lock the layer, but I'm not sure because there's no lock, so it must be something else. You can mark objectives like 食べるために so that I can eat, right? You can mark objectives or 幸せになるために so that I can become happy. All right? And generally for the benefit of someone, especially with people, but also things, but so like I can say 視聴者のみんなのために so for every one of my viewers, right? いい配信をお届け、できるように祈りいたします I don't know, or like 祈っています I pray that I can give a good stream for the sake of all my viewers. Just my long sentence construction is still weak. Sentence construction is really hard. So for example, like one thing I do, right, for these streams, I basically never make my own sentences. Even now, I'd rather go find sentences than to try and construct my own. I could probably come up with good ones, but like sentence construction is just like that's literally the highest thing. That's like the last achievement. That's like the platinum trophy, right? Making natural sentences while writing and speaking, that is like the platinum trophy to learning a language. Like you have to understand that is the last thing you will be able to do. No matter how hard you try, making natural, proper sentences like a native speaker, and like that's the last thing you can do. That's the final step basically. So yeah, これはペンです exactly. So you'll be much earlier will you be able to understand everything people say and understand everything you read than you will being able to perfectly reproduce natural language. That is the holy grail of learning a language, is to be able to produce it naturally. So don't feel too bad. That stuff takes years, sometimes decades. Now, if you work hard, it can be years and not decades. But if you, certainly, like it's hard. Japan Twitter. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. All right, ladies and gents, that was my quick lesson about Tame. If you're new around here and you enjoyed this lesson, then maybe you will enjoy my other lessons, which are in this playlist. I should see that. Oh, right, my bot. Okay, you know what? Let me restart that bot right now. I'm sorry. Twitch. There is no... Wait, sorry. This will be 1 second, I promise. Okay. CD. I just gotta get into my Git. Well, this is gonna be super quick, trust me. What is this bot? It's called eve.py. Okay, Python 3. eve.py. Oh god. Pip install Twitch.io. Twitch. Oh no, it's Twitch.io. Okay, wait. We're speedrunning this. Okay. We're doing it. Okay, wait. What do I not have? Oh god. There's a bunch of packages. Either way, if you enjoy this, you can check out the Discord server and you can check out the other lessons. I hope that I can get these things to work. Oh, it works. Okay, it's back. My bot is back. This is the Discord and this is the playlist. All right, there we go. I got it out in time. Thank you very much. My super quick hacking skills proved useful. All right, welcome back, EveBot. Yes. Whew. Close one. Oh, this is beyond my level. It's good to start putting your brain for another time. Yes. All right. Thank you very much. We will now move to something else. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I have one idea what we can do. Something I definitely want to do. That has nothing to do with the lesson though. So thank you very much for listening to this lesson. It will be on YouTube eventually. I'm catching up. Shouldn't be more than like a month. I'm like a few lessons behind. So if I upload every like 2 to 3 per week, then we can catch up. And I'll start doing that again. So yeah, thank you.